Praetorian!
You can watch a really cool channel like Vinny Balls, or you can have a history lesson with me today. I wanted to talk to you real quick history about the Praetorian Guard. The Praetorian Guard are the cohorts Praetoria, the troops of the Roman emperors. The cohorts Praetoria existed by the 2nd century BC, acting as bodyguards for Roman praetors or generals. In 27 BC, the Emperor Augustus, he was the first emperor of Rome, not Julius Caesar, created a permanent corps of 9 cohorts, each of about 500 to 1,000 men, and stationed them around Rome. In 2 BC, he appointed prefects to command them, 2 prefects. But eventually, a prefect named Sejanus became their sole commander. He concentrated them in a fortified barracks outside the walls of Rome that was called the Castra Praetoria. Later, the Praetorian Guard would go on to gain significant political influence. So, in the early days, the Praetorian Guard was basically bodyguards. As they started to grow in power, they were tasked with protecting the Roman emperor, but they were also the single greatest threat to his life. The cohorts were a major player in a lot of the deceit that characterized imperial Rome at that time, and they were willing to slaughter and install new emperors when tempted by promises of money or power. If they got disgruntled, Praetorians famously could engineer assassinations of some of the biggest emperors. One of them was Caligula. Caligula was executed, and they selected his uncle Claudius in his stead as his successor. Among others, prefects also played parts in the murders of Commodus. You may remember Commodus. He was an actual real character in the movie Gladiator with Russell Crowe. Maximus, of course, was fictional, but Commodus was a real person. According to the ancient historian Cassius Dio, after murdering Emperor Pertinax in AD 193, the Praetorian Guard tried to cash in on the power vacuum by placing the Roman throne on like an auction block, so to speak. A brief bidding war between a former consul and father-in-law of Titus Flavius, I think it was. The Praetorians reportedly sold control of the empire to Julianus for the enormous sum of 25,000 Roman sesterces per man. So it was 25,000 per however many troops they had. So I guess back in those days, that was a hell of a lot of money for buying an empire. The Praetorians were known to engage in espionage, intimidation, arrests, killings, anything to protect the interests of the Roman emperor. So if you were at a theatrical performance or a gladiatorial contest and you were seen out in public criticizing the emperor in any way, next thing you know, somebody pulled a cloak off, and it could have been the Praetorian Guard. So they lasted basically around 300 years. There was a number of civil wars, and finally in 312 AD, Constantine became the emperor of Rome, and there was this huge battle called the Battle of Milvian Bridge. The Praetorians were supposedly very valiant, and this was like this huge last stand, and this was near the Tiber River, which was a main river that fed all of Rome, its water supply. They were incredibly defeated. Their leader was killed. Constantine disbanded the cohorts for once and for all, reassigned all its members to the outskirts of the empire all over, and went to their castle or their barracks, so to speak, at Castra Praetoria, and just wiped the whole place out. The reason why I did this was a couple people have said to me, like, well, what is a Praetorian? What does it mean? I've never heard that saying before. And I kind of had to tell them, I've gotten different things like, people mispronouncing everything. It's not a normal name. I'm not a normal person, but so what? But I would get like Predator, Praetorian, reject, whatever you wanted to call me. Like, what does that mean? So, in essence, these guys were supposed to be the elite of the elite. They were despotic in a lot of ways, but so was ancient Rome. But in that time, the Roman army proper could not operate or enforce laws in Rome itself. It's kind of like what we have today with the United States military. The federal troops are not allowed to enforce local law or any other law on American soil. Well, we got that from Rome. Rome had posse comitatus. The rule was there was this huge river called the Rubicon, and it would separate most of Rome from the rest of Italy. Once the generals or the praetors were out in the field doing whatever, their conquests, grabbing land or doing whatever, when legions would come back, they were not allowed to cross that river into Rome itself proper. All the laws and enforcement of laws were left to the citizens and designated people to enforce laws for the citizens, kind of like what we have today with the police and sheriffs and marshals and what have you. The military was not allowed to enforce anything. I mean, we've really gotten a lot of things from Rome. I happen to think that it was kind of cool to look back and see some of the things that modern society still has from Rome today, whether it would be running water, aqueducts. I mean, that was huge for back then. That's why, after the fall of Rome, we had the Dark Ages, because everything kind of reverted back for a while. I digress. I really am glad you decided to check out this video, and also to be a subscriber to the channel. I don't really ask for subscribers. I don't ask you to like anything. I figure everybody's bombarded enough by that kind of stuff. There's 1,001 millions of other YouTube channels out there with really good quality content. Like I said, with my friend Vinny, I think he's a great guy. I've been besieged by a lot of these shout out channels, like, well, give us a like and we're gonna shout your name out and we're gonna get you more subscribers. And I'm not saying they're bad people or anything else like that. I don't have time to do anything like that. Most of the channels that I put on mine, I really do watch them and I really do enjoy them. Vinny's just one of the guys that I've recently looked into his channel, and I like the content. He plays things that I don't usually play. I just like to focus on some of the gaming, my friends, what we like to play. It's all tongue-in-cheek. It's all just for a lot of fun. I don't take a lot of things seriously, although I do like to make decent content, and have you not waste your time. So again, I really appreciate your time. Check out Vinny Balls. He's funny. I mean, I really like the guy a lot. And again, thanks for stopping by. I hope you learned something today.